What's up? I am going to continue reading Junie B, first grader, Jingle Bells, Batman Smells, P.S. So Does May. I'm going to go ahead and start on chapter 3. I'm going to read chapters 3 and 4 today. And chapter 3's title is Laughing All the Way. We went to the sing-along after lunch, and the auditorium looked like Santa's workshop. There were a jillion cute elves in that place. And wait till you hear this. Room 1 got to sit in the very first row. I sat in the seat next to my friend Herbert. This sing-along is going to be fun. Right, Herb? Right? This sing-along is going to be the time of our life. Just then, May plopped down in the seat on the other side of me. I stopped smiling. That seat is saved, May, I told her. I'm saving it for someone else. She looked all around. For who? She asked. For someone not you. That's who, I said. May did not budge herself. You can't make me move, Junie Jones. This seat is public property, she said. She scooted closer to me. I'm going to stick to you like glue. It's the only way to make you behave yourself today. I showed her my teeth, and I made a grrr noise. May did not look fearful. Finally, I moved closer to Herb, and I pretended she was invisible. Pretty soon, the sing-along got started. Mr. Toot said to turn to page 1 in our holiday songbook. The first song was The 12 Days of Christmas. It is about a guy who gives his girlfriend a bunch of stupid presents. I tapped on Herb, real curious. What would you do with 10 Lords of Leaping, do you think? I said. He thought for a minute. I'd take them back to get store credit, he said. I nodded. That Herb has all the answers. After that, we sang Frosty the Snowman, and Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, and Winter Wonderland. Finally, Mr. Toot stood up at his piano, and he said it is time for Jingle Bells. Room 1 hurried to the stage. It was very thrilling, except for May kept on sticking to me like glue. She stepped on my heels going up the steps. Then she crowded in real close to me, and she whispered in my ear. I'll be listening to you, Junie Jones, she said. I'll be hearing every word you sing. I smiled to just myself, 'cause I had a surprise up my arm. That's why. Pretty soon, Mr. Toot raised his hands to start the song. I stood up straight and tall. Then I took a big breath, and I sang the words out loud and clear. Dashing through the snow, in a one-horse open sleigh, o'er the fields we go, laughing all the way, ha ha ha, bells on bobtail ring, making spirits bright. What fun it is to ride and sing a sleighing song tonight. My eyes glanced over at May. Her face looked disappointed almost. I smiled. Then I took another breath, and I sang the chorus in her ear. Oh, jingle bells, Batman smells, P.S. so does May. I'd throw May right off the sleigh, and then I'd drive away. Hey, yelled May. I laughed at that funny comment, 'cause hey fit right into the song. Room 1 sang the chorus again, but I was laughing too hard to sing. It was the joke of my life, I tell you. Only too bad for me, 'cause as soon as we got back to the room, May tattled her head off. It was not good. Mr. Scary called us up to his desk. He said he is very disappointed in both of us. Only, unfortunately, there is not enough time left to send us to the office. I started to relax a teensy bit. Only just then, the bad news came. 'Cause, what do you know? Mr. Scary said there was exactly enough time for him to write notes to our parents. Man, I think that Junie B. Jones is getting a little ornery there with her classmate May. Let's keep reading. Let's move on to chapter 4. It's called Going Last. Chapter 4, Going Last. Wednesday. Dear First Grade Journal, Mother and Daddy were not good sports about the note. They said it is not funny to throw someone off a sleigh. That made me laugh all over again. I got sent to my room for a timeout. Grown-ups do not understand humor. From Junie B., first grader. I put down my pencil and I glared my eyes at May's head. She did not look up from her journal. I know you're staring at me, Junie Jones, but I don't care that we got notes sent home, she said. My mother was proud of me, in fact. She said that you deserved to get tattled on. I glared harder. Sometimes, if you glare hard enough, you can melt people's heads. I saw that on a movie commercial once. It was PG-13, I believe. I kept squinting and glaring, but May's head did not melt. Finally, I rested my eyes. I will try to melt her again at lunch. Just then, Mr. Scary stood up at his desk, and he said to put our journals away. Boys and girls, today is the day for our first visit to the holiday gift shop in the media center, remember? He said. I sent a notice about it home to your parents last week. He smiled. Today we'll just be looking at the gifts, he said. Then, on Friday, we'll go back with our money and buy the things we want. I waved my hand all around. Guess what, Mr. Scary? Guess what? My mother said I get to spend $1 whole on every person in my family, and that adds up to $5 entire, I said. Lucille raised her hand. I can spend all the money in the world, she said. I'm rich. She stood up and fluffed herself. My family has more money than you can shake a stick at. Mr. Scary stared at her a real long time. Yes, well, unfortunately, we don't need to be rich. Yes, well, fortunately, we don't need to be rich to shop at the gift shop, Lucille, he said at last. Everything there is very affordable. Does everyone know what affordable means? Do you know what affordable means? I do, I called out. Affordable means cheap. My grandpa Frank Miller loves cheap. Sheldon jumped up. Hey, my grandma loves cheap too. My grandma calls him Cheap Old Ned. Mr. Scary did a chuckle. Before we got to the gift shop, we're going to draw names for our Secret Santa gift party. That way, you'll be able to look for your Secret Santa gifts while you're down there, too, he said. We've been talking about this party all week. Can anyone tell me the most important rule about being a Secret Santa? Room 1 shouted the rule together. You must keep the secret. Mr. Scary did a thumbs up. Yes, excellent. After you pick your name today, you must keep the name a secret, he said. If you don't keep the secret, then you're not really a Secret Santa, are you? After that, he carried around a basket with everyone's names in it, and all of the children closed their eyes, and they picked a name. Only too bad for me, because I am in the very last seat of the very last row. And so when Mr. Scary finally got to me, there was only one dumb name left in the whole entire basket. And here is the dumbest part of all. My teacher pretended I should be happy about it. Congratulations, Junie B. Jones, he said. You have the honor of choosing the final name. I drummed my fingers, very annoyed. Okay, see, one name left is not actually called choosing, I said. One name left is called take it or leave it. I crossed my mad arms. I hate being in this seat, Mr. Scary. I hate it. I hate it. I get all of the bad stuff back here, I said. Even on the very first day of school, I got the only crayons that were already used. Mr. Scary looked up at the ceiling. Yes, Junie B., I know that. We all know that, he said. You mention it every time we color. I looked at some of my friends. Did I mention that my red crayon wasn't even pointy? 'Cause it wasn't. You know, my red crayon was already roundy, said Lenny. Yes, you told us already. I drummed my fingers some more. Did I mention that my greenie was broken in half? I asked. My greenie was just a teensy little stubby, said Jose. See, you told us that too. Mr. Scary handed me the last name. Look, right now, someone in this room is counting on you to be their Secret Santa, Junie B., he said. So you really need to read that name now. I did a sigh, then I slid down in my chair real glum, and I read the name. May. Oh no, Junie B. does not like May. And she sounded rather upset that she doesn't get to pick anything first, which is interesting. So there's chapters 3 and 4. I hope you enjoyed them. I want you to tell me of a time that you were picked last for something. And tell me how that made you feel. Also, think about how it feels when somebody you don't like that has to come sit next to you, you're paired with somebody in maybe a group setting or something. And how that makes you feel and how that makes someone else feel knowing that you're like, ugh, you're here? Gross. Why are you here? I'm going to move over here next to my friend and act like you don't even exist. All right, guys, that's our 2 chapters for today. I hope you enjoyed them, and I will be seeing you again very soon.